Okay, when it comes to the app, what I'd like to see added is right now on the main page, it's recording the score, love 15. So what I'd like to add is what's called the momentum score. So I'll go to the next slide. And so what that would say, it would say 0, 1 in parentheses and then 0, 15 because the point was 1. Obviously, this player is returning, so if they win the point, if the return player wins the point, not only does the score say 0, 15, but in front of that it'll say 0, 1, and hopefully we can kind of put that in parentheses. The other way we could do it is go MS score or M score and G score, but I'm thinking if we can just do it this way, parentheses 0, 1, 0, 15, the first score would be momentum score, the second score is the game score. So that's kind of how it would look. So let me go through how you would actually compute the momentum score. So the momentum score is basically how many points in a row that a player has won. Now, obviously, we're only tracking one player. So they're either going to win consecutive points in a row or lose consecutive points in a row. So this is an example game here. The player is serving. Let's go up here. We have the XY momentum score. If the number of shots equals 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, or 11, that would be plus 9. Plus 9W plus 9L. Then X increases 1, a value of 1, and Y equals 0. Okay, so if the number of shots equals 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, then X equals 0, and then Y increases by 1 value. So let's go to the sample game. So this would be a game. So the first point, okay, all right, point is a 3, okay? So all right, so the game score would be 15-0. Obviously, the momentum score is 1-0. So it would show 1-0, 15 love, like it would be back here. Okay, I've got it up here. There, 1-0, 15 love. Okay, so the second point is a 2. So if the number of shots equals 2, then X will equal 0, and then Y equals 1. So it's 0, 1 is the momentum score, 15 all. Okay. The third point, okay, is a 5. So then the server wins the point, back to 1-0, 30, 15. The fourth point is a 6, shot rally length. So the return player wins the point. So the momentum score goes 0, 1, 30 all. Server 1, shot rally length. Momentum score goes back to 1-0. 40-30 is the game score. And then the server wins the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 point with a 7-shot rally. The momentum score increases 1 value because that's an odd number, 7. So it goes to 2-0 in game. All right. Now, when the player is returning, okay, the same values are here, right? So if the shot rally rate is an even number, then the Y changes or the second score changes, 0, 1, 0, love 15, 1, 1, 0, 15 all, 4, 0, 1, 15, 30, 8, 0, 2, 15, 40, and then a plus 9W returning is a 10. That's the third point in a row, and that gives the player the game. So that's how the game score and momentum score would be computed. Obviously, we enter the value here of the number of shots, and the game score changes. So we're adding this momentum score, whether they win the point or lose the point. And so this, notice this is a how many points have been won in a row. So it doesn't go 1-0, 1-all, 2-1, and so forth. It's actually switching back and forth. So if player loses the point, that value goes back to 0, and then the other value increases, either to 1, 2, or 3. All right, so that's the momentum and game score. Now we go over here, and where did it go? I just had, where the heck? Okay, all right, I gotta pull it up, my bad. Let's go to desktop. Let's go here. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, so the other thing I would like for the app to do is show the momentum flow map. Okay. Well, before I do that, let's go back down here. So once, yeah, let's do that. Let's go here. So what I like the app to do is show like this momentum map. So a chart, if you will, to go to that says momentum flow map. And when you click on that, it's going to show this map. Now, basically, a big map would look kind of like this. Go to my website. Come on, internet. Let's go. It's slow today. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It's ridiculous. Come on. Come on, guys. Okay. So it would look like this. This is what a momentum flow map would look like. All right. Obviously, without those numbers, it would just have, the points of reference. We could figure out how we could do the points. But that's what it's going to look like. Now, what's interesting about this and why I want this is because this is to me, probably the best way to compute how many conversion and momentum points a player's won. Now, if you win 2 points in a row, it's a momentum point. If you lose 2 points in a row, you've lost a momentum point. If you win 3 points in a row, it's called a conversion point. And if you lose 3 points in a row, you've lost a conversion point. And so, like I said, you're only mapping one player. So it's going to be a momentum point and conversion point win loss, like here. So momentum points 1, loss, conversion points 1, loss. Okay, so that's kind of what the chart would look like for momentum and conversion points. So this is where we can figure out how many momentum and conversion points were won and lost by the player. So if we think about this charting itself, basically the game's going to start at 0, so it's an XY axis. Okay, so basically you have the X, which is just going to be positive, right? Because the points are moving forward in a timeline. So the X axis is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. The Y can be either positive if they win the point. The graph points are going to move up. If they lose the point, it's going to move down. And so we have the negative numbers if it falls below the equilibrium line, which is here. So let's just look at a game, mapping a game. So how are we going to map this based on the score? So we go up here and we have the first point is won by the player. So therefore it goes 1-0, 15 love. So the coordinates will be 1 and 1. So it moves 1 space and 1 space up. So the coordinates are 1, 1. That's how you would map that dot. Then the next point is won by the serve player. It's 2, 0, 30 love. Then the coordinates go 2, 2, right? Now, what this shows is from 1 to the second number, the Y number is going to tell us whether there's a momentum point 1 or a momentum point loss, or a conversion point 1 or conversion point loss. So if we look at this 1 to 2, that means a momentum point is 1. So that's why I put a red square for winning a momentum point. The next point is lost. So the momentum score goes from 2-0 to 0-1, and the game score goes from 30 love to 30-15. So the coordinates for this lost point is 3 and 1. So from here it goes 3, 1 over, and then back to 1. All right. So we know that from 1 to 2 was a momentum point, but 2 to 1 is nothing. Okay. It just goes back down. Now, the next point is lost. So it's 0-2, 30 all. So therefore, it goes from 3, the coordinates go from 3-1 to 4-0. So we can see that this y-axis went from 1 to 0. So that means there was a momentum point lost. Okay. Now we're here at 4-1. Sorry, 4-0. So the next point is 1. So by the server. So the momentum score goes 1-0, and then game scores 40-30. And then the coordinates for mapping that point is you go 5 and then 1, because they won the point. So when you win the point, you go up on the y-axis. If you lose a point, you go down. Next point is lost. 0-1 deuce is the score, momentum and game score, and the coordinates are 6 and 0. So it goes from 5-1 to 6-0. So you can see nothing has been won. It went from 0 to 1 and 1 to 0. So it's toggling back and forth. So there's not 2 points being won in a row. So we go to the 7th point, and that one is lost. So it goes 0-2, add player 2. And we see the coordinates go from 6-0 to 7, -1. So now we know that from here to here, that was 1-2. So there's a momentum point loss. 8th point is 1, 1-0, 40 all. Goes back to 8-0, is the coordinate. So nothing good. That's just 1.1 in a row. Then we have 2-0, add player 1. So the serve player wins 2 points in a row. So the coordinates go 9-1. So now we can tell this is a momentum point 1. Then the 10th point is 3-0 game. So the player wins the point, a third point in a row. So the coordinates go to 10-2. So we can figure out by which way the y coordinate moves. You can tally how many points were won in a row, and whether the y coordinate went down in the number or went up in the number, and then that's how you can figure it. So once it gets to 3, what's going to happen is the the system's going to reset back to 0-0. So once the code tallies 3 points in a row, it's going to be a reset. So the next point will be 1. Either it's going to be they win the next point, right? And so if they did that, I can't actually edit this, but let me go over here. Let me see if I can find that master copy. Anyway, let's go back to here. I'll see if I can explain it. So from here, this is the game. So now the serve player is going to be the return player. So if the next point is, say it is 1, so it's going to go from 10-2 to 11-1. right? But that's because they've won 3 points in a row, it just resets, and that's going to be 1 point in a row, and then 2 points in a row, or back to 0-1. So the key is that the code only has to tally up to 3 points in a row maximum, and then it needs to reset, or be smart enough to reset back to counting 1, 2, 3, either winning 2, 1, 2, or 3 in a row, or losing 1, 2, 3 in a row. Once it gets to 3, it resets again. So I guess we'll have to talk about that. But that's figuring out, making this map is, to me, the easiest way to pull off how many points are won or lost in a row. So that's what I've got so far.